The Megamind review is my next video, don't even ask. So me and the boys just got back from seeing Spider-Man, Far From the Ones Who Abandoned You, chasing the love of these humans who made you feel wanted. Now, I didn't have huge expectations for this movie. I figured it would just be a nice palate cleanser after Endgame. All I really wanted was a movie that showcased the implications of everyone coming back from the reverse Uno snap, while also being a cute teen comedy with Spider-Boy. I wasn't really all that invested in his corner of the MCU, since I didn't think Homecoming was that great. Plus, compared to the vast Spider-Verses presented in the PS4 game and, well, Spider-Verse, I just thought this Peter Parker's web of friends and foes was a little slight in comparison. With all that said, I am so happy to report that Spider-Man Far From Home shattered any and all expectations I had. This is the best live-action Spider-Man movie ever made by far, and maybe the best standalone MCU movie since Winter Soldier. Yeah, I'm shocked too. And the thing is, it's not so much because it's an amazing Spider-Man movie, but because it's an amazing Peter Parker movie. Spider-Man, as we know him in his traditional suit, is barely in this thing. But that's fine, because the movie is all about Peter getting tired of the weight of saving people put upon his shoulders. He literally just came off of fighting Thanos, of course he wants a break. So when Aunt May packs his Spidey suit on his trip, or Nick Fury yells at him for not stepping up, you really feel for him. He just wants to go out with Zendaya, let the boy be free. This is why the movie is so strong. The central conflict of Peter living up to everyone's expectations and filling the gaping hole in the world left by Tony Stark is really compelling. But obviously that's not the only great element of the movie. Basically everything that Homecoming attempted, Far From Home gets near perfect. The action is such a step up that it's astounding, making much better use of Spider-Man's powers coupled with some truly awe-inspiring visuals. The teen romance stuff is even more fun this time around. I just love characters taking vacations and seeing them out of their usual environment, and these characters are so fun and endearing that I had a blast with their plot lines. Another great aspect of the movie was its reverence for the previous MCU films, not just in Easter eggs, but legit plot points as well. This was one aspect of Homecoming that kinda got on my nerves. It never stopped reminding me that it was an MCU movie through meh-worthy jokes and semi-forced callbacks. Here, everything felt organic, and much like Endgame, this movie rewards you for being a longtime fan. I'll talk more about them when we get into spoilers, though it's not a spoiler to say that this movie picks up where Endgame left off pretty smoothly. I didn't think this universe could recover from such a reality-shifting event, but everything seems well addressed. There's a horrifying scene where we see kids at a band practice getting Thanos, and a hilarious scene where they pop back. Peter's teacher tells a hysterical story about what happened to his wife in the 5 years between snaps. There's a homeless shelter for people who were displaced since they got snapped, and new people lived in their homes during those 5 years. It's just really well thought out, and I love how, indeed, everywhere we go, we see Tony Stark's face. A grateful universe. I hope they remember you. All that good stuff. It's also great because it makes the villain's plan way more hilariously petty. And with that, we get into spoilers. Skip to this part to avoid them. 3, 2, 1, penguin.
Whoa, huh? Where am I?
Whoa, Chris, you're back. It feels like it's been 5 years since I last saw you.
Wasn't I just in the Toy Story review?
Well, yeah, but it feels like it took 5 years to make that Spider-Man 3 video. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I actually did script that in January, so it did take a while.
Anywho, Jake Gyllenhaal is without a doubt the highlight of this movie. He focuses... Oh, gee, James, I can't read from this far away.
Oh, okay.
He forms a nice bond with Peter early on, which really makes his eventual betrayal sting all the more. And yeah, if you seriously didn't know this guy was gonna be evil, I don't even know what to say. He's a literal supervillain most people know about. Don't call it a twist villain when a 5-year-old could see it coming.
With that said, Jake Gyllenhaal's performance once the ruse is revealed is nothing short of amazing. The amount of showmanship and pure malice he gives off, coupled with the extreme pettiness of wanting revenge against Tony Stark, the guy who literally saved him along with the entire universe and who is dead now, makes for easily one of the best villains in the entire MCU.
He's not super deep, but the performance alone elevates him over other Marvel villains like Hela or Vulture. And the fact that his hologram illusions are based on that random technology from the beginning of Civil War that no one has ever thought about since that movie came out is just incredible. But nothing beats the guy who Obadiah Stane yelled at coming back. We got to see
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave
on screen again in the year of our Lord 2019. How amazing is that? And Tony's love for acronyms coming back with Mysterio getting mad about the BARF acronym, and the Peter tingle coming back later on. This script nails these callbacks. Nothing seemed wasted. Even some scenes that were a little dumb, like the lady telling Peter to take his clothes off or Peter accidentally executing a drone strike on one of his classmates, were setups for stuff later, so their inclusions weren't pointless. Peter ending up in a Dutch prison was a little weird though, I'll give it that. And aside from that, the only other real problem we have is the CG on Peter when he's webbing stuff up without his suit on in that one scene. It's laughably bad. And the post-credit scene was weird. I don't know why we needed to involve the Skrulls in this story at all, but it was was a neat tease for stuff to come.
But we need to talk about 2 scenes before we wrap up. First of all, Mysterio's illusion scene was insane. Marvel movies have done trippy sequences before, but not one that really dives into a character's psyche. Peter's fears and insecurities were so well realized in this beautiful, inventive, horrifying, kind of corny in a good way scene that took my breath away. And then the mid-credits scene. Oh ho ho, mama. Look, I'm a dum-dum. I accidentally spoiled that Jameson was coming back, but that didn't take away from the impact of seeing him on the big screen again. J.K. Simmons hasn't missed a beat, and I'm so happy to have him in the MCU. But that wasn't even the most insane part. Spider-Man's secret identity is gone.
What?
It felt so unclean, so vile, so far removed from anything you'd expect in a Spider-Man film. Peter didn't get his big moment where he comes out as a hero like Tony. It was taken from him by this petty asshole he trusted. That alone puts Mysterio on the list of Marvel villains I want to punch in the face, which previously only had ego on it. I can't even begin to think about the ramifications of this and what's gonna happen next. The last time a movie left me with this many questions about the future of a franchise was, well, Infinity War. I'm so excited to see what they have in store, because this movie felt so fresh and new for Spider-Man. It puts him in situations we've never seen on screen before and divorces itself from the cinematic language of the character. I think it was completely intentional that we don't see him fighting in his traditional costume until the climax, or swinging through New York until the end. It helped this film stand out compared to the previous Spider features and focused on the strengths that this Peter Parker brings to the table. Obviously, it had no chance in hell of topping Spider-Verse, and if I'm being honest, Spider-Man 3 is still my favorite live-action Spidey because of how bonkers and ironically enjoyable it is, but Far From Home is the best live-action Spidey film. Much like the main character, it doesn't try to be something it's not. It's an unconventional take on Spider-Man that works wonders for the MCU and this iteration of Peter Parker. So Chris and I are giving it a big ol' 9 out of 10. Best movie I've seen all year so far. Except for Booksmart. Go see Booksmart. It's amazing.
And I will crush that Spider-Man, and then that other Spider-Man, and all the Spider-Man, till I'm the Spider-Man. Spider-Man, we're at it again. This time with 50% more